Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the sacking of Thomas Tuchel, which as a Chelsea fan I'm not too happy about because he's a world-class manager, won the Champions League, just frankly deserved a bit more time, and he don't have a striker. It's not his fault that Lukaku is a complete snake. You know, we bought that guy from Anderlecht when he was like 16. I thought when he come back, with the history he had with the club, he'd show a bit more effort, but obviously not. So Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea's ruthless reputation for sacking managers continues. Chelsea's ruthless reputation for sacking managers, irrespective of previous success and reputation, lives on with the brutal dismissal of Thomas Tuchel. If anyone believed new owner Todd Boehly would adopt a lighter, more sympathetic touch to those inhabiting the manager's office at Stamford Bridge than predecessor Roman Abramovich, they can now think again. So what I think about that is, though, I think he either didn't like him on a personal level, or he's just trying to copy Roman's approach of, quick sackings, because it done quite well in the past. But either way, it's the wrong decision. Just because that format worked in the past doesn't make it the right decision. The past is the past. Boehly's turbulent first 100 days in charge at Chelsea ended with the abrupt removal of the man who won the Champions League in May 21, 6 months after arriving to replace sacked Frank Lampard. The Americans' hands-on approach, coupled with the lack of sporting director after key figures such as director Marina and technical and performance advisor Petr Cech left, has made Stamford Bridge appear to be an unsettled and somewhat chaotic place. Why get rid of key figures? You're American firstly, and then on top of that, I don't know why you do that, to be honest. Sacking a manager just days after Chelsea spent more in one transfer window than any other British club in history only adds to that impression. Boehly has certainly proved his ambition and financial power, but he has made a very bold call, sacking Tuchel, one of the game's elite managers, so soon after taking control at the club, although it has appeared not been well behind the scenes at Chelsea for some time. So that's the thing as well, I'm calling it now. Tuchel's going to go to Man United and he's going to do an amazing job. You heard it here first. But you might not have heard it here first, you could have heard someone else say that, but that's my opinion. There seemed to be an uneasy relationship between manager and boardroom, with Tuchel issuing several coded messages of mild discontent about transfer policy during the summer. I hope that coded message was, can you buy a striker please? I'd appreciate a striker. Boehly's strategy was more inclusive than distance applied by Abramovich. I can't even say her name. Tuchel seemed to have not enjoyed the change. Well, you wouldn't, would you? And especially if he's not happy with the transfer policy, he has not got a striker. You need to help the man out. The collaborative approach suggests not all transfer targets were Tuchel's, although the deadline day of arrival, Aubameyang, which, in my opinion, I could be wrong, only time will tell. But I'm calling it now, Aubameyang's going to flop. Who worked successfully with a German at Dortmund from Barcelona certainly had his prints on it. He told the BBC the relationship with the owners is very intense, very close, which it has to be because without Petr and without Marina it's a big change in the daily structure and communication. Well, if you're going to make a big change, it's got to make sense, I'm a lot more involved. I've stepped up in terms of responsibility. I think in the long term, or even when the close of pre-season comes, I want to be more on the coaching role again. It never happened. Tuchel won the Champions League without additions to his Chelsea squad, but struggled to replicate the success once the new buys flowed in with Lukaku. Not Boehly's doing, it should be stressed, a horrendous failure, and now back at Inter Milan. Well, really, no one could have imagined Lukaku the snake. We bought him from Anderlecht when he was a teenager. You would have thought his history with the club, he would have had a bit more respect, a bit more loyalty, but he's a snake, so obviously not. The manager appeared to give up on Lukaku very quickly, resulting in what will eventually be a very heavy financial hit for the club. That's part and parcel of football. If you buy someone who's no good, there's no point keeping hold of him because his value is going to probably depreciate even more, especially if he's playing woefully for your club. And if it's super clear that he don't want to be there, then your bargaining position ain't going to be great. Even so, Chelsea were close to trophies last season, only losing the league and FA Cup finals to Liverpool on penalties. Oh yeah, both of them, weren't it? Oh Jesus. Bowley has certainly given Tuchel reinforcements in the summer with England forwards Sterling, Koulibaly and Cucurella. I suppose that's a good point. He has had, a lot of investment. It's not like he's not been backed, but then where's the striker? Well, you could argue about Aubameyang, but then give him time to see if that would have changed anything. And yet the pressure has, including disappointing losses. Yeah, been crap, we know that, but he's still a world-class manager. So for me, that's irrelevant. The same way players dip in form, it can happen to a manager. And Bowley has been subject of jibes from outside Chelsea, suggesting that he's a new arrival playing a form of fantasy football, but the other side of the coin is that he made serious statements about his ambitions, both with his transfer activity and now Tuchel sacking. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, outside Chelsea, yeah, but he's buying good players and spending lots of money, so don't be a hater. Chelsea's ownership group has clearly seen enough over the first 100 days, both from Tuchel and the team he controls, to decide he is not the man for them and move on very swiftly. What do you mean he's not the... This is what makes me think it might be a personal thing. But then he's a manager who expects the best. So, it's annoying. While Tuchel spat with Conte joined, and at the end of the 2-2 draw at Stamford Bridge, might be put down to punish. Well, no, that's because there were some rubbish decisions, and if I remember correctly, both of their goals shouldn't have stood. My English, no English. But I'm pretty sure both of their goals shouldn't have stood, so I think that was more the problem. He has, by all accounts, become a more detached personality, with players on board, poor results and performances only speeding his demise. Chelsea has simply not appeared a happy camp in recent months. Well, I suppose that's something I can agree with. If the team as a whole don't seem happy, and it's down to the manager, it don't matter how good that manager is, because the job of the manager is to get the best out of the players, and if he can't do that, it's irrelevant. Kind of like Mourinho. It's like Mourinho's a top-class manager, but once he lost the faith in both Chelsea, Man United, once he lost side with the players, it's like, it don't matter how good you are, because your job is to motivate them and get the best out of them. So I can see that. Tuchel, who will not struggle for future employment with his stellar record, can rightly say he would have needed more time and patience to mould Chelsea's expensively reshaped squad. But history tells us over many years with Abramovich and now in 100 days that these two commodities are next to non-existent at Stamford Bridge. Yeah, which makes you worry about the Potter signing, because he's someone I would like to see in a long-term position. But then if we're just going to go on like this, like he's struggle and then he's gone, and then who is there? Chelsea have often turned the old laws of running the club upside down by thriving on instability and managerial churn. Di Matteo winning the FA Cup and Champions League as interim in 2012 is the prime example. That's different though, because Di Matteo weren't an established manager. He'd done well, but I think that's who was in charge. It was Villas-Boas, wasn't it? And he stunk. So I think he just helped change the momentum for that season. But Di Matteo is never going to be a long-term manager for Chelsea or for anyone. So I think that's an unfair comparison. This, however, is a move laced with high risk, and Bowley must get his choice of successor right. Which I think he has. He's got Potter. But what's the point in getting Potter, who I think is a long-term manager, if you're just going to get rid of him if he has a bit of a stint, or if he gets some signings that don't work out, or, he's not happy with how you're, doing your, you just got to accept these things, man. Bowley made plenty of big statements in the transfer market this summer. He has now made his biggest of all by sacking Thomas Tuchel. And much of Bowley's reputation and standing among Chelsea fans will now rest on the success of his next move. Yeah. It's a joke. So let's have a look at this though. Chelsea confirmed Graham Potter as manager after deal struck with Brighton. I'm surprised at Brighton. This is like suicide for Brighton, in my opinion. What are they doing? They're pushing for top 4, and now they're going to get rid of their revolutionary manager. Like, what do you want? Are you Burnley? You want to get rid of your manager and sink to the pits? Potter signs 5-year deal. Watch him be sacked after 6 months, and then we've got to pay him a mint in compensation. And we'll start with the game at Fulham. He takes over Tuchel after it. Potter has been confirmed as Chelsea manager on a 5-year, 16 million in compensation. That's fair enough. If anything, I would have wanted more if I was Brighton. Well, what can you buy with 16 million? You can buy a bang average championship defender, probably. I'm incredibly proud and excited. The thing is, I am happy with Potter, but Potter's a long-term solution. So it's like, we need to if we're gonna get Potter, which we have, we've got to stick with him. He's done amazing at Brighton. That's why I think it's suicide for Brighton. What are they doing? But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the thing. I think it's a joke. I think Bowley's just trying to copy Abramovich. He's got no imagination. Either that or it's just, he didn't like him on a personal level. But there's loads of people, like, clubs employ hundreds of people. What, you're going to get along with everyone? You're just going to sack anyone you don't like? It's not about you liking them, it's about whether they're competent at their job. And he was, and deserved more time. So I was reading this article. Chelsea flop Timo Werner has already suggested what may have led to Thomas Tuchel's sacking. Thomas Tuchel's sacking may have come as a shock to the club's fans and pundits, but not to striker Timo Werner. The German left the club to go back to Leipzig for 25 million and aimed a thinly veiled dig at his manager. Mate, you can't score goals. I don't care if you score 100 goals in a season for Leipzig. I've seen enough with my own eyes. One-on-one with a keeper. All he can produce is like a pathetic P-roller. Otherwise, video's playing in the background. Go away. Werner has scored next to no fucking goals because he is shit and he can't shoot. That's that bit summarised. Chelsea then decided to sign Sterling from Manchester City to play on the left, effectively spelling the end of Werner. Left him feeling annoyed. Why not fight for your place? Why not, practice your shooting? Because you still would have got a chance. It's not like you would have been pushed out of the squad. If anything, you probably would have been made to striker because you've got no one. The German forward made it clear his intention to leave in search of regular football and found his way out of a nightmare 2-year spell in West London. Yeah, because you were rubbish. Because you were absolutely rubbish. And Werner gave a candid assessment of what went wrong between him and Tuchel, suggesting that he lost his enjoyment. When you're paid a mint, it's not about enjoyment. It's elite football. It's about winning. Obviously you want to enjoy your job. It's almost like it's like a child's attitude. I'm not having fun. Like, put your head down. Get your head down. For me, the fun of playing football is in the foreground. Of course, I had great success at Chelsea. Well, you were arsehole lucky to win the Champions League. You missed 2 sitters in the first 9 minutes, and if it weren't for Havertz, I think Chelsea's fans' opinion of him the season after would have been very different, because a lot of Chelsea fans were backing him still, and I was not one of them. I said he needs to get in the bin. He needs to get in the bin quickly, which I'm glad Tuchel done that. But there's a clear difference between a player who scored 30 goals, but they're different leagues, different situations. Werner suggested he isn't used in the right way by Tuchel as a left winger. See, I think that's a load of rubbish, because all of Werner's attributes, he should be a winger. You know, he's fast, he can make runs, he can create space. You can't score goals. So for you, if I was your careers advisor, I would have said to you, don't be a striker because you can't shoot for love nor money. Become a winger. So I just don't get that. And you can still score goals from the wing as well, so that makes no sense either. I think the coach's system of play didn't suit me perfectly. Grow up. That's why it was clear to me that I wanted to take a new step. I'm at an age where I want to play as much as I can. Mate, learn how to shoot, right? Because you've got a lot of good qualities, and if you learn how to shoot, probably be one of the best players in the world. I don't care how many goals he scores at Leipzig. You know, unless he does it on the big stage, it means nothing. Alright, the next article. I just thought I'd cover a few, you know, get an overall view of it. Chelsea Star posted 2 words to Thomas Tuchel after sacking. I was buzzing when Reece James signed his extension, because for me, he's better than Alexander-Arnold. He's the best right back in the league, in my opinion. His crossing is just ridiculous. Like the way he whips a ball in. Mr. Whippy. Chelsea defender Reece James has posted a farewell message to Thomas Tuchel on social media after German was sacked. Well, I wouldn't say he rose to prominence during Tuchel's reign. You know, one of the very good things that Lampard did. Because to be honest, if Lampard didn't bring him into the fold, you know, when we had that whole transfer debacle, how do you know he would have, you know, even been given a chance anyways? Same with Mount, same with but you know, I was thinking about that, us selling Gilmour to Brighton. I thought that was a joke. But what did he say? Thank you. Yeah, at least someone's got a bit of, you know, appreciation, some manners. Alright, the last one. See, I sort of disagree with this. I've read through it already, but... So, they say the statement was disrespectful. Chelsea fans have slammed owner Todd Bowley for the club statement announcing the appointment of Graham Potter, as claiming that it was disrespectful towards Tuchel. Well, the sacking was disrespectful. I can agree with that. The former Brighton head coach was confirmed as the Chelsea boss on Thursday. Signed a 5-year... He has had a major impact at his previous clubs, and we look forward to his positive impact at Chelsea. We look forward to supporting him. I hope you actually do, and that's not a load of guff. His coaching team and the squad in realising their full potential in the coming months and years. However, fans have claimed that Bowley's statement was disrespectful. This follows reports that have emerged claiming there were problems behind the scenes, with Tuchel and Bowley not sharing the greatest relationship, while the German was also annoyed at having a greater role in transfers. Wait, he was annoyed at having a greater role or not having a greater... Because as a manager, you'd want a greater role. You'd want to dictate who's coming and who's going. And this follows reports that have emerged claiming there were problems behind the scenes, with Tuchel and Bowley not sharing it, while the German was also annoyed at having a great... Well, I don't get that. That makes no sense to me. As a result, fans vented their frustration on social media and sprung to the defence of Tuchel, rightly so. One quoted the statement and said, "Not only is he extremely talented on the pitch, he has more skill and capabilities that extend beyond the pitch, which will make Chelsea a more successful club." See, that could be a dig, but it could not be a dig. Just by saying he has the skills and capabilities that extend beyond the pitch, he's not necessarily saying that Tuchel didn't have that. Am I wrong? Let me know. Not only is he extremely talented on the pitch, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. It seems a bit of a reach. The way it is wordly, indirectly mudslinging on Tuchel, but we move on full support for the new coach. I don't see it. I just don't see it. That's like saying, if he says, the new manager is really good, amazing manager, that's not saying that the previous one wasn't. We don't really know the ins and outs of the problems between both. It could all be down to the transfer saga. It could all be down to strikers. I think this one's a bit of a reach. But yeah, that's pretty much my views on it. Too early, even though Potter's a great replacement. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. This is my first ever video, so I hope I don't sound like shit. I hope it's not rubbish. Leave a like, subscribe. I need it. No shame, I'll beg it. And have a good one.